In the previous lesson, we added a click handler to our button. We specified a function that would run whenever the user clicked on our button. And of course, the logic of that function was to use the setState method on the this keyword to change the value of the text state property and force a re-render of our component. Another very common approach that you will see in real-world React code bases is rather than defining a function, you'll see developers define a method, an instance method within the body of the component, and provide a reference to that method for the onClick handler. And I want to show you the syntax in this lesson because, as we'll come to discover, it can actually be prone to bugs. And there's going to be a couple of solutions that we're going to learn in order to address the issue that we're about to have. But first things first, let me show you what the syntax looks like. So right here in the body of our class, I'll declare an instance method. And as a reminder, the way we do that is we simply choose a method name. Below, for example, we have render, and that is a required name for the React component to work. But right here, I can define a method by whatever name I want. So for example, I can call my method handleClick, provide my function parameters or my method parameters, provide my body. And right here, I'm just going to copy and paste this code right here. And my intent, of course, will be that the handleClick method will similarly invoke the setState method in order to update the text property on our state. So right here, rather than providing a reference to a function, I'm simply going to provide a reference to handleClick. And because that is an instance method, I have to prefix my method name with the this keyword. So right here, I'm going to write this.handleClick. Keep in mind, we don't want to provide parentheses here because that would actually invoke the function, and thus the onClick prop would actually receive the return value of this method, which in this case is going to be undefined because we don't have explicit return value. So in other words, this syntax would evaluate to a manual value of undefined. We don't want that. We do not want the return value of our method or function. Rather, we want the uninvoked method. We want to provide the procedure or the recipe, in other words, that we want React to cook for us to execute whenever the user clicks on the button. So on the surface, this syntax may look reasonable. We're providing an uninvoked method that should run whenever the user clicks on the button. But take a look at what happens when I click log into account. You'll notice that the text does not change, which means something has gone wrong with how we've wired things up. And if I open up my console right here and take a look, we'll see a red error here. You can see cannot read properties of undefined reading setState. All right, so this is the bug that I warned us about at the very beginning of the lesson, and we're going to explore two different ways that we can solve this issue starting in the next lesson. So I will see you there.